Hello everybody, my name is Robius and welcome to a new episode of Assassin's Creed The Real History. In this series, I compare events in a selected character's life within one of the Assassin's Creed games to the actual history the individual lived through. As always, beware of major story spoilers. For today's episode, we will be taking a look at the man who became known to Italy as Valentino's executioner, Micheletto Corella. As is customary, I'll begin this episode by sharing with you his pre-game history, which will inform us on his background prior to ACB, then its in-game history, which we see depicted in the game, and lastly, we will analyze the differences between what happens in the game to the real historical events of the individual's life. Starting with the pre-game history, it is generally accepted that little to no information is known about his childhood and early life. It is generally assumed that during his late adolescence to adulthood, he studied at the University of Pisa in Italy. Although it cannot be fully confirmed, many historians believe that Micheletto and Cesare Borgia were either friends since childhood and that they chose to go to university together, or that they met during their studies in Pisa and that it was here where Cesare took him into his confidence. Technically speaking, it would be beyond this next interval of time where we first met Micheletto in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, where he had joined Cesare Borgia's army as a leading figure, eventually gaining the rank of lieutenant. However, he never took place in the fictional siege of Monteriggioni as was shown in the game. In Brotherhood, he was simply introduced as one of Cesare's generals, but his military career was never really explored. Historically, following the conflict in Forli, certain records state that Micheletto and the Bishop of Trani remained behind to hold the city for Cesare as the Duke continued his campaigns in the Romagna. Micheletto's military career continued into 1502. Initially, following the conquest of Piombino, Micheletto was once again used as the leader of the occupying forces, taking the position of governor until October of 1502, when he was transferred to the city of Pesaro in the same capacity under the command of Cesare. However, during his voyage between Piombino and Pesaro, after learning of some resistance against Cesare's expansion in the area by some rebelling towns, he led his troops against his adversaries and punished them brutally while also sacking the neighboring settlements. In this time period, between his military accomplishments and other rumored side activities, Micheletto gained the nickname of Valentino's Butcher, since not only did he lead Cesare's forces, but he was also supposedly his personal assassin. Although most of these records cannot be proven, Micheletto has been associated with the deaths of certain cardinals who opposed the Borgia's rule, most probably through the use of poison. However, it has also been historically implied that he may have been the killer of Vitellozzo Vitelli and Oliverotto da Fermo, who were also Cesare's commanders, but that the Duke wished to dispose of once they had begun to question him. Supposedly, under the guise of a peaceful meeting, Cesare invited his commanders to a meal where they were subsequently captured and executed, possibly by Micheletto. His last large-scale rumored assassination was that of Alfonso d'Aragon, Lucrezia Borgia's second husband. However, once again, this could not be proven, although certain people believe that it may have been Cesare who could have killed him. Although none of these potential assassinations were depicted in ACB, his role as Cesare's personal killer was demonstrated when he went after Francesco Trocce and Pietro Rossi in the game, although neither of these scenarios actually took place. In addition, he was not nearly killed then spared by Ezio after his assassination attempt on Rossi, but it did make for a great scene in the game. Eventually, in 1503, Micheletto and a fellow commander under Cesare took their forces, including a few hundred horsemen, with the purpose of joining their master's army in the north. Unfortunately, they were confronted by the armies of Giampaolo Baglioni in November and were defeated during a confrontation in Tuscany. Micheletto was captured due to his high-ranking position and was imprisoned in Florence and was later moved to Rome, where he was interrogated and tortured as his adversaries wished to uncover any secrets he may have learned while serving Cesare. It is said that despite the torturing, Micheletto did not reveal anything and was eventually liberated by the new pope, Julius II, in 1505 after nearly 2 years of imprisonment. Once a free man, his reputation for military action was still valuable, and therefore Niccolò Machiavelli vouched for him and had him hired as one of the keepers of the peace in Florence, where he commanded the city's defenders. He remained in Florence until 1507. Micheletto later moved to Milan and lived there for some time. However, during a confrontation with some Milanese citizens concerning an unknown topic, Micheletto was killed. In summary, the differences between Micheletto's actual life and his representation in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood were as follows. Firstly, the game showed him participating in the fictional siege of Monteriggioni and being affiliated with the Templar faction, neither of which was actually the case. Secondly, Micheletto did not kill Francesco Trocce, nor did he attempt to kill Pietro Rossi, as was shown in the game, although he is rumored to have been Cesare's personal hitman. Lastly, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood demonstrated Ezio attacking him during a theatrical performance when he was trying to kill Pietro, and then later sparing his life, which quite evidently never happened. Even with these minor changes, due to Micheletto's only partially recorded history, it should be considered that he and his violent lifetime were very well represented in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. And with that final fact, we have finished another episode of Assassin's Creed The Real History. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, I highly recommend you try out one of the Assassin's Creed games. Thank you all for watching. Please leave any suggestions for future characters from any of the Assassin's Creed games that you'd like me to cover in the comment section below. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in a future historical episode.
I am not yet dead.
I did not come here to kill you. He who is the cause of someone else becoming powerful is the agent of his own destruction.